complicated with this new roster. Bermuda themselves, because they haven't, had nearly as easy of a time throughout the series so far, are still working, from square one, so to speak.
Hey, that's the name of a team.
Hey.
And so Bermuda now going to be maybe thinking about some goats. What do you think? Do you think they thought about goats there? Second Wind on their attacking side is going to go ahead and be doing the same thing. And now we're going to see Horizon Lunar Colony commence as they're going to get speed boost into potentially the other health pack room. But it looks like Bermuda trying to pincer here. They're not doing a very good job at it, as Second Wind is able to get onto the high ground and be able to get that kill. So that's a 6v5 now for Second Wind, and now they get to play with their food at this point. If they want to take the fight onto the point, they can, because Bermuda has to follow. But Hedan, though, going down, that is a mistake that should not be made, especially in this position. But hey, Hedan is newer to the team. There is going to be a little bit more leeway for him, as OG also going to be going down. The defense responds are so far away. Every kill is so important, and Second Wind are getting exactly what they need.
Yeah, trades will always favor the offense at this first point of Horizon Lunar Colony. Second Wind, even though they lost their Zenyatta very, very early on, Bermuda lost their main tank. So with that, it means you cannot really put any kind of dedicated point presence there to try and stall things out. You throw a Lucio on there, he's going to get devoured by Second Wind, and so it was just a matter of time before Bermuda eventually gave that up. However, they have earned themselves a Trance and a Grab to try and hold point B. These are going to be the two tools that they absolutely need to find value with, because Second Wind have all the time in the world. 6 minutes, 23 seconds.
That is a ton of time in the time bank. HamTornado, Second Wind know what to do, but Bermuda have the ultimates at their disposal. They don't have that snowball potential just yet. There needs to be a little bit more time, and they finally got there as Gods is going to finally get to that re-mech. He's so close to that self-destruct. He is going to have potentially a point-defining ultimate here once Technique is able to get to that Graviton Surge. They have to get there, though, and here we go. Sharon going to use that Earth Shatter. One person is down. That's ultimate, but he's going to be taken all the way down. No rally available for Bermuda. The self-destruct now from Bermuda, not going to get much. Technique, though, going to get his kill. Second Wind going to go ahead and launch every single ult that they have, because they have an enormous numbers advantage, and now all they have to do is clean it up, as they were already able to take 2 ticks during the fight.
Very well-timed sound barrier from Hello, I'm Halo as well. Net Second Wind, the map completion in their very first push.
Hey, remember when we said Second Wind is really good at coming back from halftime, not letting, those moments like getting held on point A. I'm the type of player, actually, that would let that, consume my brain, right? It's like, oh, we got held on A, and that just leads to other kinds of thinking, right? That thinking not happening on Second Wind. Good stuff from them.
Oh, no, very good bounce back indeed. And they seem cool, calm, collected, no different from what they seem, in previous series where they were dominant. So Bermuda, again, have their work cut out for them. This is not a team that you can, oh, well, we took a round on Nepal. We full held them on Blizzard. Well, we got a map win, guys, right? You have to bring your A game against Second Wind every single time, because all of these players individually even are, some of the very top in the class. So now Bermuda have to attack for themselves. The question, of course, is always goats is a great option, but every now and then, we start to see those triple DPS, quadruple DPS looks shine through as teams prepare themselves for the release of the live patch, which will be what we play playoffs on. Second Wind for themselves, loving it. Bunker comp.
The bunker comp can work wonders, not allowing Bermuda to even sniff the points. So what Bermuda needs to do, one of the hardest things on the attack against the bunker comp, is to make it on the actual objective. And so then it forces Second Wind to drop, and maybe they drop at different times, and the Bastion's left without a shield. That's what they're going for, but they have to get there first.
Exactly. Gods will probably be the one with this D.Va to play distraction and hold that point away from Bermuda, while Second Wind go for that long rotation. But it is in that travel time that they are the most vulnerable. Speedily also has the option on this Sombra to run interference against Bermuda, which is actually a great look, because Shu, as the words leave my mouth, swaps onto the D.Va. So Bermuda will be running that tried and true Goats composition, but my point about Speedily still stands. Many a Goats composition has tripped hard, fallen flat on their face against a well-played Sombra.
Well, the other thing that Bermuda might choose to do is, if this doesn't work, they might choose to go dive with the Genji to try to push them out. And they're going to go ahead and rotate for the first time. That's the first rotation you'll see Second Wind make, and now it's Bermuda's chance to try to get them onto the objective. That with Pizza Demon going and down and Umte as well, it's going to be much harder for them to bunker lives.
A little bit awkward right there. You saw Umte charging through that, Shield and Bastion composition, but because of that, there's still an Orisa on the field. She might not be, the biggest DPS dealer. She's not even that fast. 4 legs confers a lot less speed than you might expect, but she was shelling into the back of his head, and Bermuda kind of found themselves in a very awkward pincer position. You don't want to be between an Orisa and Bastion sandwich.
Yeah, that's like being between a rock and a hard place, right? So Second Wind now still on their bunker composition. Bermuda not very close to their ultimates. They have to get on top of this Bastion somehow. Is Goats going to be the way you do it? It does seem to run, over team comps after they get to those ults, but they're not quite there yet. Second Wind still in charge. He danced so close to that nano as well, speedily as well with the EMP. Going to be able to use it right now, get every member of Bermuda, but, there are trades both sides, but Bermuda actually going to take more, 3-2 there, so Bermuda still have a chance. Umte going down, that's going to even things up. It's all up to the 3 remaining members on each side. Gods does have that nano. That means he's going to have a little bit more durability, but Edian does go down in at the end, and so Second Wind lacking that support just yet. This has got to be Gods' time. Will you ascend? It looks like so far, yes, he is going to get Shu, and they still defend the point. There is going to be a slight advantage on those attacking spawns, but not before the point caps. Second Wind will be able to come back here.
Hello, I'm Halo is also back with Gods. Man alive, he got the juice, and he held without having to use the Diva Bomb. That is maximum value from that play right there. Bermuda tried their darndest. Also, certainly worth shouting out Hedon's massive purple to follow up Speedily's EMP. So Hello, I'm Halo now just tempoing it with that Valk in the air. Can Bermuda shoot that lockdown out from the sky? Doesn't look like it.
And so the self-destruct is going to go into the back line. The Reinhardt has to make a decision, and the rest of the team decided to hide rather than bunker up behind the single Reinhardt, which actually would have left them open to some of Technique's rockets there. He's going to go ahead and get a double kill on a single shot. Good stuff from Second Wind.
Very good stuff right there. And again, a great sleep from Hedon, who, you've said he's a journeyman. He's been on, it feels like 30 teams at this point. And boy, is he letting that experience shine right there. Even though OG was able to drop the sound barrier in response to God's bomb, Umte was slept. So if that barrier hadn't come through, Second Wind would probably be looking at an even more dominant hold. As it is, Bermuda now have 42 seconds left to try and capture this, and then they got a shot at point B.
This is almost the definition of an eye for an eye for Second Wind. Are they going to be able to hold Bermuda on point A? This is going to be the toughest spot to hold because Bermuda's coming in with 5 ultimates. At least the sound barrier is not going to be available until potentially the end of the fight. But looking at Second Wind, the EMP, it doesn't matter. The EMP doesn't care about check marks, right? When you get that EMP off, no one can use their ultimates, and they were able to get through them. They see the EMP coming, and they just all press Q, which was exactly the right decision. Is Bermuda going to come out on top of this fight? This is looking like a point A take, so Second Wind unable to grab the eye of Bermuda and hold them on point A, but they did force Bermuda to use everything except the Shatter to grab it.
They've given themselves the best possible win condition for point B. Second Wind, although Technique, hey, is this really coming true, or do my eyes deceive me? Bastion beat Boop potentially, but Bermuda again, they walked straight into that EMP, but they didn't care. They had the ultimates. They knew they were going to win with that CC no matter what, and Umte was the battering ram to lead that Bermuda charge. However, now they find themselves in a very difficult spot. No wings available for Bermuda, and Second Wind are perched on that high ground with, what we might call the tried and true Bastion Mei Orisa bunker at this point, speedily swapping onto that Ice Queen to try and frustrate Bermuda as they walk up onto the high ground.
And so they're going to have to walk up there because there's no way to get up there any other way running that Goats composition. Umte is slept once again, and they're going to go ahead and just wait a couple more seconds before he wakes up. He's got his beauty rest. He's coming back, and now the wall is going to separate everyone away from Pizza Demon, but Technique is going to be taken down, so this is a 5v5. Hello, I'm Halo trying with the res. The self-destruct is going to keep him safe, actually, so no one can actually go on top of the Mercy during the res, and now Technique is back, and he is back with some Moxie, as you see that ult charge come right back, but OG gonna get that kill, so second win unable to keep the Bastion alive, but maybe so much focus from Bermuda to try to get Technique back to spawn, they left themselves open to the rest of second wind.
Yeah, that is kind of one of those unfortunate all-in scenarios. Bermuda had to double down and try and push Technique off of that high ground, but because they were able to quite finish their plate, Technique will have an opportunity to set back up onto that little ledge should he so choose. The low ground is definitely not where Bastions want to live. A lot of water gets in there. Rust, puddles can become an issue. Second wind looking very comfortable. They already have 3 ultimates at the ready, and Technique about to have that tank mode again.
Yes, Healy already used the wall, so there's a couple of seconds of opening, and they're going to find a Pizza Demon. This is exactly what happened last time. Pizza Demon not with this team, actually gets the kill onto Hedan. Sherry going to get that Battle Bongo taken away. Technique, though, has the nano, has the ultimate, has the siege mode. Let's see if it's going to find impact. It doesn't look like it does. Atella and Halo going to be able to get another res off. ZT did mention it before that, you know, these teams aren't used to covering the body of these Mercy reses just yet again because they haven't had to deal with it for so long. But Bermuda do end up dealing with second wind's defense there. And they find themselves on top on this objective, and now they just have to clean things up. Second wind, though, with the characters that they have, do have the capability of coming right back.
Yeah, especially with Gods now alive, 6 seconds away from that bomb that could clear so much space, speedily rolling his way onto the point with all of that quickness.
Oh, that was super cool. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it looked like he misplaced that bomb, but he used his body to inch it in front of the door to get that kill. So super cool tech coming from second wind there. Unfortunately, it might not be enough. Bermuda still in control.
Yeah, Bermuda here looks like they might well take this. Second wind losing their members, and that's going to be 2 ticks, nearly 3 here. Bermuda will have, you know, a time bank as well, over a minute.
Over a minute still does not compare to what second wind has at their time bank. So point A, the name of the game for Bermuda is take as much time off of the clock. Invest, I think invest until, you know, you can't invest anymore, until you know you're going to lose. Yeah, exactly. Be that thorn in their side. Be that part of the bed you can't sleep on, right?
Oh, it's like, you know, when your pillow is like really warm and you flip it over and somehow the other side is warm too.
I don't want to live where you live.
Yeah, no, it's bad news bears. And
so second wind trying to avoid that bad news and the bears, I guess, as well. Bermuda now with their minute and 5 seconds. That's not a lot of time. Let's see what comp they come out with, because goats can take a little while to get going, and they are going to go ahead and use that. Sometimes you do see that DPS come in to try to get a quick pick and get onto the objective.
Yeah, pick style comp might actually work in Bermuda's favor if they feel confident working it, because when you don't have a lot of time to try and get those big tank ultimates, what can you do? Just click heads forehead, right? A lot easier said than done, though. The consistency of goats can't be denied, especially if you are hoping for a point B. Right? So you carry all of those ultimates off of a very successful point A and you can use them easily on point B, whereas with a DPS pick, you're usually going to see the swap come through. So that kind of explains why Bermuda are not going to be changing up anything. Goat's composition once again, but second wind really like the cojones on these teams, especially Hello, I'm Halo. It's a surprise that he can fly with stones that big. This is a Mercy that really knows his stuff and going to probably be that thorn in Bermuda's side, as you always see him, you know, hopping between those little high ground ledges. As second wind, they have their win condition set as well. EMP, early nano.
The EMP, we only saw the effect of like that one time earlier on point A. The Fury needs to come up to it. Really fast. A good halt taking people down from the high ground. So now everyone is separated. Bermuda doesn't know what to do at this point. Now they have to all come in with 5 people. Pizza Demon needs to rejoin his team eventually. But is it going to take too long? There's only 20 seconds left. Bermuda might need to engage here, and with another kill onto OG, this might just be crossing your T's, dotting your I's for second wind and pushing this defense away. As with 10 seconds left, there's no way Bermuda comes in with 6 people.
No, impossible right here. Maybe with that Hammond, they have a shot at touching this, but Ultimate Web already purple taken out of it, and overtime will start here. Flyby by Shu as we see, EMP now hits. Wayfast has swapped onto the Widowmaker for any last-second picks, but it's a little bit too little too late.
Yeah, EMP didn't really hit anything other than Shu there, so thank goodness second wind was already in charge of that fight, because if that was the value of the EMP at any other time, they'd actually might be still playing this round. And so round 3 is complete. Bermuda unable to take that tick. Second Wind's got a ton of time to get theirs.
Yeah, this is a very, very tall mountain for Bermuda to climb, and Everest, no oxygen packs or Sherpas available for them. That's rough road, man.
Yeah.
Second Wind, though, again, kind of just sticking to their guns, and this is what makes me feel really good about this team moving on into our future weeks and potential playoff kind of scenarios where, hey, we've swapped out those players, doesn't quite seem to matter, right? Hey, we're not playing that GOATS composition that we do so well on, doesn't really seem to matter. Everybody has an understanding of what their role is within this team. Even if it means that I don't get to be the star, I can still support my teammates here with, EMPs. I'm, hey, whatever, maybe this EMP is not going to make a difference since it comes so late in the fight, but I'm going to do my darndest to get that ultimate charge, right? I might die, but I'm going to nano gods right before I do it.
No heroes. Right, and when people do act as the hero, right, then they get that credit for it. And so no one is trying to put the whole team on their shoulders and win the whole round on their back, because that's the only way how. There's that trust, even with the newer members here, that you're seeing from Second Wind. But again, Bermuda, they got those 2 points. Unfortunately, were unable to get that tick, playing arguably some of the best Overwatch they've played all season. Unfortunately, it's up against Second Wind, who came back like a different team after that halftime.
Undoubtedly, and it will be that GOATS v GOATS matchup, which somebody definitely just has to bring some goat horns to whichever land we get to enjoy first and smash them together, because this is going to be a big battle of the beef. on the Winston here, Sherrick on the Reinhardt, so each conferring kind of their own advantages here. would really like some early Primal Rage charge. He's just waiting to drop down, get some cleave.
Oh, he is unable to do it, actually. You want to see the Winstons be a little bit more sneaky with this stuff, and actually Winstons in the past here on on Horizon Lunar Colony aren't playing that frenetically either. So what I was really trying to say is the Winstons that you see have that ult charge up to 60% before they even make it up to the objective.
Exactly.
They know exactly where Second Wind is going to be coming out, which direction they're going, and where to stand to keep yourself safe and be able to escape correctly as well. Bermuda, though, do get some return kills onto Second Wind. It looks like they were able to get that reset, but smartly switching off the Reinhardt, off the Winston. That was not going to work out for them.
No, he'd be coming from behind the entire way. Ultimate Buff was able to get the pick onto Hedon, which is what allowed Bermuda to snowball that defense into their favor. But again, they only have a single tick to give and still 4 minutes and 25 seconds left to defend. Second Wind themselves very close to that Earth Shatter, while as having swapped onto that hero so late, will only be sniffing 15%. So Second Wind, again, as long as they maintain that discipline, keep the comms clear, they have a good shot.
They can go ahead and lose a bunch of fights here until they know they have an ultimate advantage. They just need to make sure that they take an advantage when they find it. Speedily actually going to get thrown to safety after that charge away from the rest of the fight. Now the Graviton Surge is going to be countered from the Transcendence. God's getting D-Neg is going to be disheartening for Second Wind. Sherrick going to go ahead and use that Shatter. Knock 2 onto the ground. Bermuda's not going to last that long. Keeps even getting to kill onto Gods. Means that Second Wind are not going to have that vocal leader on their team for this fight. And Sherrick's going to be going down as well. These are still trades, and trades are going to help the defense in this situation. But now with Zhu getting out of the mech, this is what we were talking about. Bermuda allowing Second Wind to come back into this fight, a fight they should have won. And we're going to see Second Wind take this point.
Yep, Second Wind up 2-1 against Bermuda after that assault map. He's just, this is a player that he kind of, I don't want to be too mean, but he lost that defense for Bermuda right there. You saw Piece of Demon trying, with all the power of, the heavens invested in me. I want to zoom you out of my way and try and keep that Reinhardt alive. As charged straight into the death ball of Second Wind. And occasionally, those kinds of, all or nothing plays will work out. Honestly, Bermuda didn't have a great shot at holding regardless, but we've seen those moments from throughout this, 2019 NA Contenders series. He came to us, from Going Waters actually, all the way from Korean Open Division, where he really, really stood out with his incredible Winston play with that main tank. But as he's transitioned into NA Contenders, not quite sure, what it is, but those team plays, again, haven't really come to fruition. If your Ryan's going to charge in like that, he was already a third health. it's very easy for Second Wind to clean that up, and that's kind of, you know, those windows of opportunity that you kept mentioning, especially on Blizzard World, where any team worth their salt, if they get used to kind of being like, hey, these people, you know, leaving themselves open, you know, more times than not, they will capitalize.
Well, something that I also wanted to bring up is this is like the Bermuda we saw on Blizzard World and even Nepal, right? This is not what we saw there on Horizon Lunar Colony. The Bermuda that we saw in the first half thought they could win every fight, right? Like, remember, we talked about grit before halftime from coming from both of these teams. Second Wind known for theirs, and Bermuda coming back from a couple fights that they were supposed to lose, and they did hold Second Wind on point A, and so they should have all the confidence in the world coming in here. They've proven that they can hang tight with Second Wind at this point, right? But now after that game, there was something that happened, and I think the best way to describe it is seeing Umte on that Winston there at the very beginning. It was like someone who was like, the
like,
whole time,
I guess
right?
we'll play Winston then.
Yeah, there was like no decision making. Someone was like, you gotta pick mac and cheese and ketchup or mac and cheese with nothing.
Hot sauce.
Right? And so like, and then that person's like, but I like,
I
like mac and cheese and ketchup, right? And it's more, you know, that decision paralysis really did seem to come into play there for Umte, and that's not what we want to see from teams who are trying to win.
Yeah, we have to see, you know, kind of whatever the playbook is, everybody's reading from the same page, right? And unfortunately, Pizza Demon got to that chapter a little bit later than Umte, who already made that decision. We're going to go in, guys. And, you know, and that kind of just meant that, you know, Bermuda was going to give up Horizon Lunar Colony because it's usually you can't come back from such a devastating pick. So...
Well, and with over 5 minutes on the clock,
yeah, and
right?
over
it's
5
like
minutes. Only one tick to give. A lot of things, you know, working against Bermuda.
You got to be playing some of the best Overwatch of your life in order to hold that.
Yeah.
Unless you're Sky Foxes. And so Second Wind. So the old Sky Foxes, this version of Sky Foxes is
exactly.
So Second Wind now, odd match point. They want to win Gibraltar. And while there is a lot of high ground here, which is why we see Winston, we're not going to be seeing that hit scan DPS from either side.
Unluck.
Time. So now we're going to be seeing Hedan on Ana, though, so that's a little bit of a difference.
I do really, really like this look, though. Transcendence still, of course, always a really strong ultimate to have in your bank, but with a support player the caliber of Hedan, you can get so much more value from those early nanos, from those massive purples. It makes the load on the rest of your teammates so much lighter if you can enable them, right? So especially with Discord or being nerfed in the patch that we will be experiencing playoffs on, getting used to this Ana very early on, a good look for Second Wind.
And so they're all getting close to their ultimate charges. Sherrick is going to be ahead of Umte here, who dies first once again. And, you know, yes, you're going to expect the tanks to die first. Yes, you'll see Brig die first a lot as well. But when it's always Umte, you know, especially after Horizon Lunar Colony, after playing really well in the first half, that's super concerning, especially since Sherrick is at his Primal Rage already. The rest of Second Wind are going to have their ultimate, so even if Bermuda do win this fight out, Second Wind will be very prepared for the next one. But the payload has made some distance.
Yeah, it's now underneath Car Wash. Second Wind not going to let that letter number them here. But the best news is, yes, Nano Boost onto Sherrick right away. He has the Primal available.
Is going to go ahead and use the Primal during the Nano. Oh, beautiful purple biotic grenade from Hedan there. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Sometimes good plays don't result in any type of reward, but that's some good stuff coming from Second Wind there as this fight is still going on. Sherrick trying to get back to another Primal Rage. Umte is not going to need any more help because Shu is going to get that self-destruct kill, maybe because the fisticuffs were thrown on to the opponents and able to open them up to that self-destruct, but huge fight in some small corners there.
Yeah, Shu right there taking advantage of the chaos in the server room. All of those, you know, I'm going to guess billions of dollars of tech ruined because of two very angry monkeys. But Sherrick, you saw what he was trying to do there, take advantage of those tiny corridors, but unfortunately in the end he just wasn't quite able to burn them down quickly enough, and now he is the first one back in respawn from Second Wind.
Yeah, this is the best fight Bermuda has had, I feel like, since Horizon Lunar Colony when they were able to cap that second point. So Bermuda going to find themselves ahead here. Wayfast did invest the ultimate into this fight. They really wanted to make sure they grabbed this first point. We're going to enter Hangar with 3 minutes and 55 seconds left.
That's actually a really impressive time bank for Bermuda. They essentially won that entire point A in 2 fights, I would say. They never really fully hard reset, and Second Wind still, you know, adapting to this pace of game. However, Hangar phase is somewhere where if you own that high ground, you get that early advantage. Things can go your way as we see Second Wind drop back down.
again, Umte is going to have Primal Rage once again. He even has that Transcendent. Second wind, though, does have that Graviton Surge. Now the Self-Destruct comes through. I did hear that connect to Hello, I'm Halo. Gods and Shark, though, going to make sure that Second Wind win this fight in the end.
Yeah, Gods, being that carry player for Second Wind, you know, here's the thing with this Second Wind team. Sherrick, you know, he tried to start his Primal Rage and everything, but I feel like you could always rely on Gods. Oh, man, we need a frag. Okay, throw Gods in there. Oh, no, we're about to die. Gods, you got some Matrix for me? Yeah, I got your back, Holmes. And now Second Wind will have that bomb combo at the ready, and more importantly, they own these chokes. Bermuda getting dove upon, everybody grouped down.
All right, now they really need Gods to perform as well, as he's actually pushing in a ton of damage. Self-Destruct could be huge in this Graviton Surge. Actually only gets one, but one is going to be enough for Second Wind. Is Sherrick going to be isolating Wayfast away from the rest of the team? At least there's some sight lines for those particle barriers to get on there. Wayfast cannot lose that energy charge and does get away.
Yeah, that's going to be, you know, kind of the glimmer at the end of the tunnel for Bermuda in a pretty painful lost fight there. Everybody popping their ultimates, trying to stay alive despite everything thrown their way. But Bermuda, they seem to have an affinity for these tiny corridors. They don't speed through them like many teams do and play in these big wide open spaces, and that's, you know, to their detriment. Sherrick has this Primal Rage in part because he gets so much cleave damage very early on, tasering all of the bodies of Bermuda.
God's getting D-Mech, though, is going to make things a little challenging for Second Wind. Sherrick really needs to find and isolate members of Bermuda with this Primal Rage, but he's going to get isolated himself. Actually has to cede that space and make it back to his team, and he's going to go ahead and jump into the backline. Really good bubble keeping him safe. Good movement coming from Sherrick, and looking like comparing that to Umte, who did go down there. The Winston on Second Wind's side is performing just a little bit better, but the rest of Bermuda bringing them back. Sherrick, though, going to get taken down. Bermuda are going to find themselves ahead in numbers here unless Second Wind are able to find more picks, but with the ultimates online, it doesn't seem like that will happen. Second Wind will need to get this defense going again.
Yeah, Second Wind, here's the thing about those staggers. Eventually, if you're in those awkward 3v2, 4v5 situations, the type of hero that you have available on the card will matter a lot. Second Wind had some tanks available, and Bermuda, though, had both tanks and supports. So it's going to be a lost fight if you try and force this. It might be a lost fight again for Second Wind, who forced to burn that Transcendence very early. Keeps everybody available, and Bermuda themselves now have to invest that sound barrier.
Self-Destruct coming from the Gods is gonna not find anything. If the particle barriers were there, they didn't even really need to hide. Bermuda, though, going to find themselves down a man with Umte going first once again. I believe that's 3 or 4 fights in a row. Edan starting to frag out. We mentioned earlier that he's not tended to be one of the Zens that are one of those fragging Zens. Goes on with a more consistent side of things. Finds them occasionally. Found them there, which helps Second Wind's defense.
Yeah, if you have a fragging Zen in your backline, you're always going to be doing better than just a Zen, you know, who pops Q at the right times. Bermuda certainly struggling right now to make any kind of inroads. 30 seconds left, and Umte, those fights that Bermuda did win was a little bit more in spite of Umte dying rather than because of his contributions. But he will now have the Primal Rage.
And Umte going to try to get onto the high ground, but see that space immediately. That means his jump's not going to be available for a little while longer, but the Graviton Surge is going to keep him locked up anyway. Self-Destruct coming from Bermuda, not going to find anything. Shu, though, actually does find that D-Mech. That's good news for Bermuda here, especially now that Sherrick is down. Umte going to be able to get that Primal Rage going, so this is their advantage. This is their fight to lose, especially since Sherrick is not back yet, and Primal Rage was the only thing that they could have delayed the departure of this payload, but they're potentially letting Second Wind back into this game. God's able to get that Self-Destruct off. They're unable to confirm that kill, and now
nice
everyone
Primal.
is back, so now it's 5v5. Sherrick going to be coming in with that Primal Rage, and now Second Wind once again come back from a man disadvantage. Bermuda unable to maintain that advantage, but will Second Wind here as God's going to be taken down, and Hedan going to live throughout all of that, living by the skin of his orbs. Hedan still has that Transcendence as well, doesn't need it. Second Wind is going to be able to hold them here in a hanger, and that's just another example of Bermuda letting Second Wind back into a fight. When Second Wind is making less mistakes overall, that is a death sentence to your team.
Yeah, kind of sloppy fights, you know, honestly, between these two teams. But Second Wind pull through because when they make that engagement, when they invest the resources to, say, burn down a Zenyatta, everybody all-ins to try and complete that, finish their plate. Whereas Bermuda, you know, Umte trying to do a lot of work himself. Hedan living there and getting that, you know, return volley to kill the Winston made a huge difference in that last fight. I mean, Bermuda didn't have great chance to hold or to continue pushing regardless, but that was just indicative of some of their struggles so far, especially here on Gibraltar. Second Wind, you know, they're not playing a super hot game themselves, but a win is a win, right, on paper, and that's definitely going to help you find your way into playoffs.
Yep, and, you know, the other thing about Bermuda that I feel like I've noticed is there are a lot of teams, actually, that don't know how to play from behind, right? It's they commit too much. They only know how to play when they're in control. And Bermuda actually strikes me as maybe the opposite of that. When they're ahead, they don't know how quite to handle themselves.
Like, oh my god, we're doing real good, guys. What's next?
Yeah, exactly. And so because, like, I think, like, it's easy, just based on the way that they played before. They didn't take a map off of Fusion Uni, by the way. You know, that they have it in them, right? But once they do find themselves in control, it's like they haven't practiced that, right? And things seem to be falling apart. And I think Bermuda actually lives on both sides of that equation as well, where, like, playing from behind is also very difficult for them. There's this, they need to go back to the drawing board and really talk about what kind of team they want to be.
Exactly. right here, just getting a little bit of early cleave around the corner as the rest of his team also drops down. Nobody really incredibly low, but at the moment, third health for this Winston. He does manage to live for now, but that means some more free distance for Second Wind as Bermuda wait for this re-engage. Eventually, though, they will run out of room to give up, so we have to see that decisive engagement from the defenders.
Bermuda not choosing to hold up close, which a lot of teams have started to do. Asserting himself right now along with Ultima Web. He does escape with his life, but it forces Second Wind into the server room, and Shu is covering the other side of that, so they know exactly where Second Wind is going to come out. Gods and Sherrick are going to need some heals. Looking at those ult charges, Speedily is the fastest on Second Wind, and Bermuda, Ultima Web is going to be matching him on the other side. They do finally leave server room and do get the DMAC onto Shu. going to be racing to that Primal Rage. He is ahead of Sherrick right now, so he's able to take, if he's able to get it, this could be a good stall, but he is unable to get there. Second Wind, just like before, crossing their T's and dotting their I's. This is what playing from ahead looks like, right? And so now that they're there, they were able to clean it up and make sure they got this point.
You make an advantage and then you press that advantage. Still doesn't yet have that Primal Rage. Now Sherrick is finally catching up with the opposing Guerrilla Scientist. Bermuda, again, they have those tools ready. Rally will be popped from Ultima Web, just buying Bermuda a little bit more space.
And so the Graviton Surge is also going to be coming out. Self-destruct is there, and it doesn't seem to be finding anything, but kills have already started to come through for these teams. Now we're just
waiting,
for the next slide.
The catch-up.
Yeah, it seems like things have ended.
But, look at that. Winston, he's feeling good.
There it is. And so it looks like Second Wind were able... Oh, actually, they lost that fight. So Bermuda were able to get that defense going after those ultimates. Waypass was the one that invested that grab. Second Wind now have the grab of their own. And so Technique now needs to find something out of this. 4 minutes and 20 seconds left. Down barrier now from Bermuda. That's one of their two ultimates. Pizza Demon going to be the last one, and this is possibly their last fight, so Bermuda needs to find something. They got to grit their teeth. They got to find the victory from somewhere. Second Wind right now not finding it from themselves right now. Sherrick just going to get bullied while he's Primal Raging, just really keeping them in the Maria Estrada right now. Shu is going to go ahead and get DMEC like it was his choice. Bermuda now do have a small advantage. Second Wind are coming up on those ultimates. They've got to a point where Second Wind do win this fight. They are going to win this match overall. And it's exactly what we're going to see. Gods putting the exclamation point onto Pizza Demon. He's going to order some pizza later. Hopefully, Second Wind going to be finding themselves on the top here. Bermuda kept up for the first half here, but things fall apart on the second.
Great book by Chinua Achebe. Totally worth a read if you really like cassava, by the way. But Bermuda again. Yeah, that is. Yeah. So, I feel sorry for anybody who also understands that reference because you've read that book. But, Bermuda again, there were moments, but it always felt like their hand was forced, right?
Yeah.
Popped the
Primal Rage. In the second half. Not in the first half, I would say. In the first half, it actually would look like the other side of things, where Second Wind was reacting a little bit more often.
And, the sound bearer getting dropped very early on, ostensibly couldn't quite see what the reason was, and those are the kind of, small slip-ups that become ever magnified as you move throughout the series, and, your opponents get to you know, the swing of things and get in your rhythm, they're like, you know, it doesn't seem like Bermuda's getting a lot of value from these ultimates. I'm not really, you know, afraid of this Primal Rage. again dying in that very last fight first. At the second that Pizza Demon pops that Transcendence, he's in the ground. And it was just kind of, you know, glitch in the Matrix, deja vu, the communication not entirely there between the front line and the back line.
It was like everyone was having different communication, a different conversation with each person on that team. And